So for this video we're going to be working on embroidering the fox in this corner of these panels. So I've changed to a variegated brown. It's kind of a foxy kind of browny orange. And something we need to consider when working on the variegated ones for the quilts is that when I do the just the embroideries, you don't have to worry about tying off the ends. I just cut them short at the front, and the backs don't matter because no one sees them because they're going to be covered in the when you sandwich the quilt. But when we're doing it on a quilt like this, unless you're absolutely sure that it's going to be just a wall hanging, you really need to finish off and tie off your threads. So which I don't like doing. but how I do it is we're going to take a stitch, make sure that you've got enough of a tail on both the top and the bottom, just makes it a little bit easier. And we're going to aim to, I don't quite see it, my put it here. We're going to aim to be stitching just inside, so like about 1 millimetre away from into this colour fabric. So, and pick an area to start which isn't like really important, you know, like a nose or an eye or something like that. Try and, you know, this bit at the back here is not very exciting, so we'll just go around there. Okay, so put your needle down once. Okay, and then we're going to come up, and then I'm going to just lift the foot, pull this thread from the bottom, and get that bottom loop. Okay, and then put the foot down again in exactly the same place. Okay, and now we've got both these ends. So we're going to be tying those off later, but I'm not going to do it as I'm going along. So just make sure they're out of the way so that we don't sew them over. And then we're going to whiz down in the same way that we've been doing the free motion embroidery. We're just going to do this on the quilting. So add the occasional little zigzag just to make it a little bit more interesting. And when you get to things like leaves and stuff, rather than like another thread end, we're just going to go around them. Okay, so I'm going to work all the way around the shape, going off towards his nose and tail. So I'll just speed that up. So here we're going to go around the tail. So first I'm going to go I'm going to go around that bit. So the end of the orangey fur, and then we're going to use the same thread and we're going to go around the white, which is going to stand out a bit more. I'm also going to add some nice zigzags in here to give a little bit of texture for the fur, and then we're going to echo that by going around it. So I would, if I was doing the embroidery, I would be tempted to use more colour threads, but since I've got to tie off every end, I'm less enthusiastic about the idea. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go up around here, and we're going to sew these lines of the tail and the folds of the body. And we can just use the pencil lines, well, you know, it would be pencil lines since it was printed, on the illustration to actually just follow. So now we're going to come down here and we're going to go around his paw. And on his paw we're just going to do some little flicks up to kind of give the impression of the paw pads there. And a nice smooth top. Okay, so we're just going underneath his jaw there, so try and keep that as neat as possible. Okay, and I'm just going to switch and go around his face at this point. And we're just going to keep on using this same thread. A little bit around his nose and back. See how it's bringing him to life very nicely. Okay, and we'll just bring out this ear at the back. And we've got to get over to this ear, so we're going to just follow these little pencil lines which are kind of denoting the back of the head. And then go around this ear. Some little zips up. And then follow that back. And then some of the Y bits of the cheek there. And we'll just finish that little bit of his arm there. Okay, and then I think that's enough. Oh, we need a little bit around his face. I should have done that when I was going round. Okay, we're going to go back. Actually, we need a bit more around here anyway, so we're going to go around these white bits of fabric now. And then up to his face. And then we want to bring out this eye a little bit here. So we're going to go following these lines down and around his eye. Okay, like that. And then this is where we're going to end it off. So you want to, I'm trying to remember how to do this. Because I literally don't do this very often at all. Let's try and watch how it's focused. Okay, so we're going to lift up our needle, foot up. We're going to move it across to give ourselves some slack, and then that's it, hold that back, and then we're just going to, depends on your machine, on mine it doesn't seem to like to just take one stitch, so I'm going to actually manually stitch this. Okay, and so I've put it in exactly the place that I came up as. So now when I pull this to one side, I should be able to take one of these threads, if I can get it. There are better videos that you can watch of people doing this than mine on this here, but I am trying. Okay, and then pull the thread up. There it is. And then is our foot. I can't remember if our foot's up. Just make sure it is. So we're just going to move. I need a little bit more length in it here. That's it. And then we can just cut that underneath nice and short. Well, and not so short that I'm going to end up leaving myself no bobbing on threading at the bottom. Okay, and so there we've got both ends and they're from exactly the same place. So later we can tie those off and go through. So that's probably the most complicated bit. So the next we want to do is we want to bring out these leaves. And we're going to use a variegated green. I'm going to use quite bright colours for some of these. So I think I'm going to use that green. Oh, I can't see it. That green, because that's really zingy. And a nice variegated reddy orange for some of the other leaves to make them zing. And then we want some kind of purple. Now I probably would use a variegated plum, but because I've already used that for the background, I'm just going to pick something that'll stand out a little different. So I think I'm going to use that one on the blackberries, and then we want a variegated red for these. There's some red berries. Sorry, I'm putting these down, you can't see them, sorry. So I'm going to use this orange on some of the leaves, this purple for the blackberries, and a variegated red for those. So I think that just leaves me with a black for the eye. So black for the eye and some kind of brown, because we've got some so I'm going to use that one. I'm going to use those on the sycamore leaves and the branches. Okay, so I'm just going to use exactly the same method that I've just shown you and work my way around all those. Right, so as I've got quite a lot of these ends now, I'm going to just end a few off in parts so that I don't have to do it all at the end, and so that I reduce the risk of me sewing over any of these. So tie both of them in a knot. As close as you can to the bottom. That's not very close, but never mind. And then thread them together. I'm using a self-threading needle there. You kind of slide it in on the side and then go in pretty close. Make sure you're not going through to the base, and then just pull those. Oh, that's no good, is it? Don't know what I did then, but I didn't take my thread with me. I think sometimes it's these self-threading needles. I guess it's a bit of a risk if it's a self-threading one that it can self-unthread as well. But yeah, I got it this time. And then just pull that knot in. And I could have done with getting that a little closer to the base really, but I'm starting to go long-sighted as well as my diplopia. So I'm struggling to see this close really. Okay, so you need to be finishing all your ends like that, which is obviously a little bit time consuming, but it will be worth it. So I'm just going to go around and finish off this set, and then we can change colours. So we've done the leaves and the fox so far, so we're making good progress. Right, so I've got the ends of those tied off, so I think I'm going to leave this until tomorrow. Now, so we've just got the berries and the sycamore and a little bit of detail around the eye to do. Okay, see you tomorrow.